University of Maryland Global Campus was established to bring a respected state university education to working adults at home and abroad. 70 years ago, we sent professors overseas to educate service members and their families on military installations and on the front lines. Today, we're online because that's where working adults need us, that's where you need us. We'll support your commitment to being a successful student with services that fit your lifestyle, and we offer more than 90 programs and specializations for where you are and where you want to be. University of Maryland University College is now University of Maryland Global Campus. We go the distance because times have changed, but what we're made for hasn't. UMGC offers online support for veterans, including resources at the Veterans Resource Center, no-cost digital materials replacing most textbooks, virtual advising, transfer credits, and lifetime career services. Speak to our dedicated military and veterans advisors who can help you find the right degree for your career path. Visit umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
You're listening to the BBM Global Network with 25 years in broadcast audio and video production. Our passionate team creates content and marketing for the world of Internet Talk Radio. If you've got a passion, come join us at bbmglobalnetwork.com. The BBM Global Network. Your voice is now heard.
Angelscapes is your direct connection to finding your soul's power and wisdom. Hosts Nancy Smith and Mary Dalba are here in this interactive show that will explore the tools and steps you can take to create peace, calm, and confidence in your life. So please welcome your hosts of Angelscapes, Nancy and Mary.
Hi, how can magic fix what ails you? When the chips are down and life gets rough, did you know there's a magic candle for that? We're with Jackie Smith of Coventry Creations tonight, and we're going to talk about candle magic and the amazing results that come from some wax, some oil, a pinch of herbs, and a flame. This is Angelscapes, and I'm your host, Nancy Smith. We're with Mary, is your co-host, and Jackie joins us. Jackie is the founder of Coventry Creations. She's based in Michigan, internationally known. She's a maker of spiritual products and the co-owner of Candlewick Shop in Ferndale, Michigan. In 1992, Jackie was the first on the national market with her Blessed Herbal Candles. This line gave birth to the spiritual candle industry. Over the past 25 years, she has created hundreds of magical candles, teaches spiritual development classes, podcasts, volunteers, and is the bestseller. Is the author of the bestseller book Coventry Magic. Soon to hit this, and then pretty soon there's going to be a new book out called Candle Magic. Can't wait to hear a little bit about that. Jackie has dedicated her entire life to the mission of normalizing the words witch and magic in everyday life. So welcome, Jackie. So glad to have you here today.
Welcome, Jackie.
Thanks. I'm really excited to be here. Chat about this great month. You know, my favorite month, second favorite month. First favorite month is my birthday month, but, you know.
Oh.
Get it. Totally get it.
Terrific, terrific. Yeah, you've got a lot of things going on, Jackie. Just a lot of things. Holy cow. And you have a whole new line of candles coming out. And
yeah,
I'm excited about that. So you're moving.
Doesn't stop.
No, never stop. But there's probably a candle for that too.
It's true.
So tell us a little bit about how you get started, and what was your draw towards candles?
Well, when I got started a million years ago, it'll be 30 years next year. I started playing around with this about 30 years ago this year. And I was making holiday gifts for some people in my life who were just wonderful to me. And I really wanted to thank them. And I was a poor young 20-something-year-old woman. So I started crafting things. And one of the things I started making was candles. So my first 18 candles were all holiday gifts. So they're all focused on the needs of the people around me. And that really was pretty universal. Prosperity, love, healing, wisdom, things like that. And so when I started making them for the holiday gifts, and they were just so well received, I was making them on my kitchen stove, and I spilled a lot of wax. That was forever there after that moment, and people wanted more. And it's so funny. I love talking about the fact that it took me 6 months from making those first candles to then finally selling them to the people who kept asking for more. They kept asking for more. I want another. I want another. And it's like, I think about it, I'm like, wow, was I so in my way at that moment? But once I started making them for sale, I was 24 years old, and I would take them, I make a box of candles, and I'd take them to a store, and I would say, hi, I made these candles. And so everything was born in that time was born out of necessity. My labels, I was working for a software development company, so I had access to their printers, and they had a whole bunch of letters. What are they called now? I can't think of it, but second sheet for your letterhead. That's the word. And that they were getting rid of all this letterhead, so I printed on the back of that letterhead, and I got everything I could to make it work. And I had a whole bunch of rubber bands in my house, so I started rubber banding the.
Oh, I remember those rubber bands.
Remember the rubber bands?
Yes,
Band the label onto the candle. So rubber bands were cheap, and I didn't know what else to do. So everything was necessity. Even the shape of the Blessed Herbal candles came about because I had 2 lengths of PVC pipe in my basement, and I wanted 24 molds. And so 2 10-foot lengths of PVC pipe became 24 molds, and I wanted them to fit into a 7-day glass. I had lots of that. And so we cut that's why they're that size. It's because I had it in my house. So it was all this moment of necessity and scrapping and just making it work. And then I was studying to be an herbalist at the time, so that's where the herbs came in.
Mm-hmm.
I was dying to ask you, how did you know what was a love candle? How did you know how to make a prosperity candle?
Well, studying magic, studying witchcraft and Wicca at the time, and all the different books, and I'm fascinated by it. So then I started studying herbalism and naturopathy. I was thinking about being a naturopath, and then I realized I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to deal with diseases. I just want to deal with herbs. So I started making these blends. Some of them I started with some recipes I found in books, and then I said, I don't like that, and I would tweak it and make it my own. And then some of the recipes were completely intuitive. My ancestral candle was completely intuitive. I would look up ancestor and spirit guide recipes. I'm like, nope. And so I just sat with my ingredients and I talked to them, and I said this and this and this. And, musk for that deep primal lifetime to lifetime, ancestry. And then peppermint was one of it for, because peppermint always reminded me of grandma.
Mm-hmm.
Peppermint tea and all that stuff. So, so that just these things came together, and wow, did that smell good together? Who knew that musk and peppermint would smell so good together? And I made all of the recipes based on the energy and not based on the scent. And thank goodness they smelt okay in the long run. So yeah. So then that's the original 18 Blessed Herbal candles were born, and I went to Seattle looking for a job. During 1992 is a pretty deep depression, recession they called it, but if you think about it, it was a depression because there was double-digit unemployment they had never seen before, and Seattle was the only place that was still hiring. So I scraped up a lot of money and borrowed money, and my husband at the time, we went out to Seattle to look for work. And then when we got there, Boeing had just laid off 30,000 people that day, the day we landed. So I just went around selling candles, and I sold out. And by the time I got back, there were more businesses, 3 more businesses had left messages on my answer machine because I put my home phone number on the label.
You're smart.
I'm like, well, how is somebody going to get a hold of me? So it just all became this rolling experience, and then Coventry just started, and we in the first 7 years we went gangbusters, and and then I didn't know what I was doing, so then we went like this, and then I went, and I had to really learn how to run a business rather than a business run me. But it's been a journey of magic and self-discovery. And I say frequently to people who say, well, I want to start a business, I don't know what I want to do, and I'm like, just remember, it's you become an entrepreneur, and you are going to find all of your fears, you're going to find all of your issues. It's going to zip you open and put your guts on the table for everyone to look at. Your customers, your vendors, your employees, they're all going to stomp through it.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. But it sounds like, Jackie, that it was a lot of like your own magic kind of going into the candles to create magic.
Absolutely.
It sounds like, yeah. Was there any particular like people that you studied that you felt like are the other herbalists or any, particular magical people that kind of inspired you with your candle business?
Well, some of my first, the Scott Cunningham books, of course, they're a staple, with the herbal magic books. Yeah. But Paul Barrel, he has an herbal book, and that really flipped it for me. That made it really magical. It wasn't just a name of an herb and a bunch of attributes. He really made it magical for me. I have a lot of deep respect for him. He really shaped that for me. And then reading the indexes and the bibliographies, and then going to get Culpepper's herbal and finding out. I loved reading about the medicinal uses, because if you look at the medicinal uses and then the magical uses, it's like, oh, this is a blood cleanser. Oh, this is an exorcism herb. Okay,
yeah,
kind of goes together. And then magically, there were so many. I was studying Wicca at the time, and so that was my introduction to moving energy. My biggest influence is learning how to move energy and watching it move, like feeling that the energy ball the first time, like, oh my God, it's like two magnets I can't touch. And then watching, just experimenting and practicing and going, wow, okay, this is real. And building relationships with my spiritual court. That was a big part of that. And trust, it was starting to trust in spirit and trust in divine guidance, and then building my practice. My practice is very much an amalgamation of many paths, and very eclectic. So I started studying Wicca. I'm not Wiccan at this time. I've become very eclectic and kind of building my own tradition of Coventry magic. Not that it's an initiatory system. I think we're all magical. I don't need anyone's permission to be magical, or you don't need anyone's permission to be a witch. And my big philosophy is a witch is a title that we give ourselves, like friend or teacher. We decide we're going to be that, and then we act in that way. And so when we act magically, we're a witch. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think witchcraft is really, we were talking about this on last week's show. It's a lot of your own power, and the power comes back into your hands. And I think candles are one of the most amazing tools to use for that, because, a friend of mine used to say, well, you light a candle, you're just lighting a light. You have to put that intention and that magic in it. And you've already kind of done some of the work for folks who buy your candles. So that's a really cool thing.
Yeah. We're going to take a quick little break here. When we come back, wanted to talk about how you blended your favorite saying way back in the day. And it's still there. It's made when the moon is right. And you've aligned the making of the candles to at least the moon, but I think you've aligned it to more than that. But when we come back, I want to talk about that. This is Angelscapes. I'm your host, Nancy Smith, with co-host Mary Dalba and Jackie Smith. We'll be right back.
What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery, or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick, Wednesdays 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave Media Network and TuneIn Radio. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them. Rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies. Find settings that allow them to be the most productive and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
.com/angelscapes. You can hear all these shows recorded on boldbravemedia.com. Just go down to /angelscapes, go all the way down to the bottom. Every single show I've ever made is there. We're with Jackie Smith from Coventry Creations. Before we get started, I'm going to tell you how to get a hold of her. First, you can go to coventrycreations.com, where you can find all of those amazing candles. You can email info@coventrycreations.com. And then there's Facebook is Coventry Creation Candles. So Coventry Creation and the candles. Instagram is Coventry Candles. I hope I'm not saying this too fast. And then a special thing that Jackie has on Facebook. And if you are a practitioner of any magic at all, I don't care what it is, go find the Facebook site that's Witches Union Spellcaster Club. I'm on it all the time, Jackie. I'm not even, but it's fabulous. So welcome back, Jackie, to did I say all that right? Do you want to correct anything?
Yeah, no, you did good. We're on all the social medias, including TikTok, and if you look up Coventry Candles, Coventry Creations, you'll find us. Terrific. We got candles there. If there's no candles there, it's not us.
Okay. Perfect. Now we talked. I want to hear this story about making the candles when the moon is right. That was the best thing ever, I thought.
Well, when I first started, I really was very dedicated to, like, this candle has to be made in this phase of the moon, and then it would be best if this candle was when the moon is in an earth sign or an air sign. And over time, I realized that the moon is never wrong. So if I need to make candles because they're being ordered, then what I can do is I can look at the energy of the moon and help it accentuate the candle no matter what phase it's in. For instance, if I'm pouring a prosperity candle and the moon is waning, it's getting smaller, what I can do is I can bless the candle and I can focus this energy of this particular prosperity batch to clear away any blocks to prosperity. And if this healing candle is made, say, on a full moon, then it can help you let go of what's keeping you in an unbalanced place. And if it's in a new moon or like a waxing moon, it can help bring healing energy to you. So it's all relative to where we are, because, like I said, the moon is never wrong. It's all in our perspective.
I love that you're sensitive, though, that as to what is happening in the world around us. Like, so many times we generally work with, this is what I'm doing right now, focus. And and you have just totally brought the energies of the universe into these candles and into the magic of them. And I'm like, I can't believe, like I had a Mercury retrograde candle and it burned down in like, I don't know, 4 hours.
Wow.
And today and there was still a tiny little bit left. So I tried to burn it today. Let's just, Scottish me, let's just use the whole candle up. Let's not waste anything. That candle would not light. I tried probably a dozen times. Isn't that amazing?
It
But
is amazing.
These candles, no.
Well, what I've done over the years, and I've had lots of different people work for me, and I'm not out there stirring the pots and cackling. I have people who stir the pots and cackle for me. But it's not a bunch of witches making this. It's a bunch of lovely, positive energy people who are making the candles. So I had to conquer at one point, how am I going to do this? How am I going to continue the energy? Because the energy shifted for a while when I had a lot of new people working for me, and I had to really master this piece of how do I maintain the integrity of the energy and the magic of the candles while we have shifting staff, or somebody has a bad day, or I have a bad day. And so what I did, and what my sister Patty, who is a partner at Coventry, we created a sacred space. First, we created like specific altars that would hold space, and really built the thought forms or the energies that are each candle. And then we realized, the whole building is our sacred space. So we go through and we cleanse it and bless it, and we talk to the energy of the candles. And I really see each energy of each candle as its own energy, it's its own being. And so we honor all of those beings, because you do that same spell and that same magic, or say that same prayer over and over and over again, you continue to feed it energy, and it becomes its own essence, almost a consciousness, but more like a primal energy. They talk about like saying your mantra over and over again, you're building energy. Mm-hmm. So I look at doing our products in the same way.
Mm-hmm. You have some really unique lines, and I want to get to talking about your new line, but you have the Mojo candles, and then you have tell me about the different lines. Blessed Herbal candles.
The Blessed Herbal candle, which is our cornerstone line, which we've had for a long time. It remains our bestseller. And with that, the Blessed Herbal family, we have affirmation candles, and we have power votives and oils, and blessing kits. So that's in that family. We also have the Motor City Hoodoo line, which is more primal. It's more of a conjure, real like getting down to the root of the situation. It's real powerful.
Yeah.
And those are all recipes that I either through study or through being gifted some of these recipes by spirits that I'm working with, and they guided me in some of that. We have a line that we do with Dorothy Morrison called the Wicked Witch Mojo.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of her. It's her words and her ideas blended with our experience in making candles and building recipes. So it was very much a cooperative effort. And we have our Witch's Brew line, and that's 4 big candles and votives, and those are and oils. And that's the Witch's Brew, the Witch's Purse, Evil Eye, Dragon's Blood. We have our World Magic candles, which are the Sacred White Sage, Sweetgrass, Ganesh, and Lakshmi are in that line. And we have our Chakra Magic line. It really talks about how to use the energy centers in your body magically, because their energy is there for us to use. And give it purpose and define it. Because if if our chakras are leaking all over the place, well, let's use and let's heal that chakra, use the energy, create a chakra shift in our life to go from a challenge to a win. And then on November 1st, we're bringing out our Astro Magic candle line. We've had Astro Magic candles, the full moon, new moon, and the Mercury retrograde neutralizer. And we're repackaging them and expanding the line, and it's going to be 10 candles, all based on our planets, the closest planets in our planetary system, and how to use that magic, the energy that's already coming at us through astrology and through how they're shifting. The planets are shifting every day to give us a new perspective. And so how do we use that energy? And I'm so excited because this is this co-created with Storm Sestavani, and so it's another co-branded product. And he is a astrology master, and we've done a lot of research and put together a really powerful and beautiful package. And it's our first time we're really packaging a candle for the masses, really, for anyone to use. Do you want to see them?
Dying to see them.
I brought you. So this is the first time publicly I'm showing them. So here is our packaging. It comes in a tube, and each one it's nicely color coded. I brought the Mercury. I figured we're doing a video podcast. It's communication. Bring Mercury, who's truth serum, and each it comes in the package with a candle. With, I call it the celestial candle with the planetary invocation, and in every tube it comes with a 12-page booklet that teaches you how to personalize the magic for your need. Like in here we talk about this is so great because we have how to use this candle for each sun sign. So like for you, Nancy, you're a Sag, right?
Correct.
So am I.
So is Mary. So you got us.
Oh, hey, this is easy. So for Sagittarius, the Mercury candle can help you sort through a broad range of concepts and to tap into a higher knowledge that reveals the vast possibilities of life. So if you have that intent with the Mercury candle, you can and use that with your sun sign. You can go there. Like I'm a Virgo, so here's what it says for Virgo. The Mercury candle helps you understand that day-to-day details of life can be used to help you manage life more efficiently. So that the energy of Mercury, which is communication and finding the truth out of any situation and digging into that knowledge, that back and forth knowledge. So that's and then just so you know, they come out of the candle, out of the tube. So always take all packaging off of the candle. Don't burn them in the tubes. They look like they go there, but it's a lovely self-display. Yeah. So take it out of all the packaging.
Don't burn your house down.
Nice.
Right.
Don't burn your house.
No, that'd be bad.
This is the invocation. Mercury, show me the truth that is hidden in the darkness and in plain sight. Open my eyes to the information I need to discern illusion from fact, subjectivity from objectivity, reveal the truth of this day.
Oh, lovely.
I'm super excited about these candles and how we can use them magically. And each of the booklet comes with a spell. Like this is the truth spell for Mercury. And it just has you use the candle, a paper bag, a picture of you, and a pen. And it's a easy spell, stuff in your house, and shows you how to do that, how to find your own personal truth. It's hard finding those truths is it's like, I know what the truth is, but we are so inundated with so much information. I mean, especially right now, we have trusted sources bringing us stuff that's really counter to what the rest of the world is saying, but that's a trusted source, but it's really kind of out of left field. So what's the truth here? What's a higher truth that maybe I'm privy to? And then what's the science? And it gets very confusing. So truth can be very subjective, and I have found using that Mercury energy to and just even drawing the Mercury sign, which is that guy. You see that little guy right there?
Yeah, the horned, I call him the horned plus sign.
Yeah. The horned plus sign, yeah. For the horned female sign.
Horned female sign, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Bring the truth out of any situation. Even just drawing that symbol in confusing situations helps like, oh, I see what's coming. That's because we all have different truths. Your perspective and your perspective and your perspective. It is like our honest to God truth, because I don't know your motivation and I don't know your motivation, and you don't know mine. So.
Yeah. Well, Jackie, that says a lot. So look at how the candles just went into this deep conversation. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk more about candles, magic, and whatever else Jackie has up her sleeve. And this is Angelscapes. Nancy and Mary, we're your hosts with Jackie as our guests, and we'll be right back.
Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality, but it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating? Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like it was almost instant, like I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. It feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic on the BBM Global Network, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of The Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on The Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
And welcome back. This is Angelscapes on Bold Brave Media at boldbravetv.com. And you're with Nancy and Mary. And then I wanted to remind you, we're with Jackie Smith from Coventry Creations. I'm going to tell you how to get a hold of all of us. You've been listening to halfway through. CoventryCreations.com is where Jackie's from. You can get a hold of her info at Coventry Creations. And anything Coventry Creations or Coventry Candles, anywhere on social media, you can find her. And Mary is at marydalba.com, Mary Dalba on Facebook. And I'm Nancy, Nancy Smith. You can never find me. So I'm angelscapes.net or Nancy at angelscapes.net, or on Facebook, it's Nancy of Angelscapes. So find us. We're resources. Jackie is an amazing resource as well. Lots of teaching on Jackie's website as well. Lots of good blogging, lots of good thoughts. Beautiful blog that came in, Jackie, about the full moon in Aries. I wanted to talk about that tonight, but you have a wonderful spell for that, a wonderful creating beautiful energy around that. So, and then Mary's all about astrology. Did I tell you Mary's an astrologist, Jackie? So she's got a lot of thoughts on we have to talk about this full moon coming up, because I even feel the power of it, and I'm kind of like,
I totally forgot it was full moon until you said that. I mean, like I knew, but forgot at the same time. You ever do that? Like, I know it, and then I'm like, oh yeah. No wonder I've been weird all day. Everyone's been weird all day.
I'm totally off the wall today, too.
Yeah. I'll have to remind everyone. Yeah, it was full moon. That's why we were all weird. So it's like, why are we weird today? But this full moon in Aries, so Aries and Libra. Well, I don't have to tell Mary this, but Aries and Libra they don't love each other. They don't. It tugs on us because we're in Libra season, and we're in the middle of this Libra energy, but Aries is like, I don't want to connect. I gotta be me.
All about me.
Yeah, I am here, and I'm amazing, and I am the full moon. Yet at the same time, full moon energy is very much a let go energy. So it's time to let it go. So if you're in the middle of the I am, and we're in a full moon, it's time to let go of the things that stop you from being everything that you are. And yet Libra, in this Libra energy, and Mary, correct me if I'm wrong here, but because I'm not an astrologer, I just get good astrology information from awesome people like you. Libra wants to make all these connections and build all these bridges and judge them on the way. But
true. Very true.
I don't know if I like this person enough.
Yeah.
But making these connections and networking, and then but Aries is like, no, I'm out, I'm on my own.
Yeah.
Forget about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a one person show. Like, don't bug me. Yeah. But meanwhile, Libra's like, let me hug you. And Aries is like, no. Yeah, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. But it's going to be intense. I think the full moon, intense energy, then you add Aries sprinkled on top of that. It's like, oh my goodness. Yeah. So,
yeah, I was kind of expecting a few things to blow with this full moon. That's just my feeling of it.
Well,
would you like
blow in what way? Like universally or societally?
This little volcano of thought and feeling and emotions that's been hunkering around. Then the full moon of Aries comes and says, "You be you," and you go, "Yes, I'm going to be me." So I feel the Sag pull here. I'm going to tell you how it is.
Well, I emotionally, personally give the moon 3 days because it's so heavy. The heaviness you feel a pinnacle, but then the day before and the day after are still pretty intense. And it's going to be, all that Aries energy, and then it's going to move into Taurus. Thank you, because I forget.
That's
I
okay.
told you I'm not an astrologer. I just get good astrology information.
Yeah. Yeah, and Taurus is a bit stubborn. So you're going from that like big powerful energy to the powerful energy of stubborn, the bull, the Taurus. So it's a little bit of a ride this week. Yeah, I would agree. Yep. Yep. Full moon's tomorrow morning. So yeah, everybody hold on to your hats. But I like the more positive idea of that we should clear things away, not so much like everybody's going to be, in that kind of strong state. It's strong is good, aggressive, not so good.
I have a slightly different take on full moon. So full moon's like a time to manifest and all this other stuff. Well, really, you're manifesting everything that you started like from the new moon. So you're like, you've blown the balloon up for 2 weeks and now you're letting it go.
Yeah.
But it's an environmental balloon. It's good for the environment. It won't kill any wildlife.
Right. It's true. It's true. Yeah. People don't realize it's endings and letting go. Like you said, the full moon, they think it is a pinnacle of energy, but definitely I think letting things go in the middle of the month is kind of a good, or the middle of all this cycle. It's our cycle of growth and release, growth and release.
And we're, in this, we're quickly going to be moving into that Scorpio energy, which is very much finding out all those deep secrets about ourselves, and our real motivations. But, and this is time, I was talking to someone earlier today about how this is a big healthy time of grief. Very healthy grieving is called for right now. And starting with this full moon, as we head into in a couple of days into that Scorpio energy, because this is a time where spirits it's a time of death, really. This is the fallow time of the year. If you look at the quarters of the year from here to a Yule or winter solstice, you don't do anything. I mean, if we're back into agrarian society, everything's harvested and you're just like mending all your socks. You're fixing and you're uncovering the things that you've ignored for this time, and then you're dreaming of your next year and your new future. So this is a time to not do anything. It's a time for you to catch up and process.
Mend those nets that you've been using all year long.
Yeah.
And so we haven't had an opportunity to grieve in 2 years. Even last year during this time, there was a lot of talk about immunizations coming in and hope. It was hope that we're going to come to an end of this. And then that hope got smashed, and all the infighting started. And so on either end, okay, this isn't what I thought it was going to be, or why doesn't everybody love this as much as I do? And so now we can all be free. And so we get into, so now I think this is going to be really interesting. This is an amazing, powerful opportunity to grieve all of the ideals and the lifestyles and the things that it's like forever change now. Last year was like, okay, we're going to get through this. This year's like, oh, it's all different for reals.
Yeah.
And it's healthy to do that. I talk about grief being like really sticky energy that you hold on to, but when you grieve, it helps all that energy lift, and it lifts out the trauma. I think grief lifts the trauma out of you when we go ahead and grieve those things. And you can also grieve things and hang on to them at the same time. So it's grieving them and letting them go. So that's why I think this full moon is super powerful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna cry tonight. I think I'm just gonna cry tonight in a good way.
Yeah. Let it go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Letting it all go. So
Listen to that song over and over again.
So Jackie, I was wondering if you had some success stories or some like responses from people who have used the candles from Coventry Creation. I'm just curious to know like some of the feedback that, comes back.
So many success stories. Even my own success stories, and most of them involve the prosperity candle, but there's success stories in other ones too. Just the things of like sitting down and with a prosperity candle or the money draw candle and setting a goal of like, okay, I need to, I every month I would put out a list of my bills and the things that needed to pay, especially when I was really struggling and every day was a battle to stay in business. I had this ritual I would do every month, starting on the new moon. And I would say, okay, this is what I have to pay this month. It was either the new moon or the first of the month, whichever one. And here's all the money I need to pay all these bills. And I have a prosperity altar, and I would burn my prosperity candle on top of this list. And what would happen every month is I would make it. I'm still in business, so obviously I would make it, but I wouldn't necessarily get all the money. I would get refunds. I would get, oh, this bill's already paid. I would get, there is an error and you don't owe this much. Or I would get, what are you talking about? We don't have that bill. And it would be, and I would make it every month. As soon as I started doing that, and having that monthly ritual, my business kept growing. Things like, I have a candle called Steady Work, and in the Hoodoo line, and it was called Querent Caller at one point for readers. And I had readers who would put the candle out and they would put it in a drawer because they had so much, they would light that candle and they would have so much business they couldn't handle it that much. They were booked for months just on lighting it for a day, and they just, I gotta put it in the drawer. I know what to pull out when I need that. I've had women leave just heart-wrenching, tearful messages about using a combination of candles that we had. We had male energies and female energy candles. They're now happiness and inner balance combined with a prosperity candle was a fertility kit, and telling us that I've been trying for years and years and years, and I lit these candles and now I have a baby. And then this one just killed me. She had the baby. She lost the baby. She used the healing candle to heal through that process, did it again. And she called us with the baby crying, her newborn crying. And I'm like, I like saved that message until, I don't know, for years, until I kind of forgot about it. But that one really, really gets me, that stories like that come in, and that they just keep me going for years. And when someone contacts me and says, thank you so much. Or I was at a convention and this young woman came up and she said, oh my gosh, I've grown up using your candles, which like hurt my feelings a little bit. She's like, I just want to let you know that in some of my darkest times, my mom would get me one of your candles. She'd say, it's time to pick out a candle. And I would, do this, I would light it. And the heart candle was her favorite. And she says it would remind me that there's hope and I could get through it.
Oh, beautiful. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh, that's lovely. A whole generation, Jackie, you influenced an entire generation with these candles.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I won't talk about that too much. I know you're sensitive about that. But,
no, I'm
yeah.
But I look great for 80.
And all your nieces and nephews, I mean, they're all your whole family. So, We're going to have to take another quick break, and we'll be right back again. This is Angelscapes, and this is your host, Nancy, and me and Mary with Jackie. I want to remind you about connecting with Mary Dalba at marydalba.com or Nancy at nancy@angelscapes.net. You can look at our website. I especially encourage you to look at coventrycreations.com. She does have a wholesale connection on her website. If you're listening in and you're thinking you wanted to do some resale with these things, there's a great program going on, and we'll be right back.
The opiate epidemic has reached crisis levels, and with so many families affected by addiction, opiate-related drug overdoses, and death, the time is now to have a real constructive conversation about addiction that could lead to better prevention, treatment, and recovery. Alan Charles, author and keynote speaker on drug abuse and prevention, presents The Alan Charles Show. Alan brings a message of hope, sharing his unbelievable story of surviving a 24-year addiction to cocaine and highlights from his memoir, Walking Out the Other Side, an addict's journey from loneliness to life. His raw honesty and courageous heart breaks the stigma of addiction and offers a unique perspective into the mind of an addict. Join Alan each week as he brings his listeners to a true understanding of the grip of addiction. It is only with this understanding that we can begin to heal. The Alan Charles Show, Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network. Have you ever felt like no one is listening, or you're not getting the honest attention you deserve? Do you even know the kind of attention you want or need? You are not alone. Alice Aspen March is here to help. Thanks to Alice, through her epiphany and research over the word attention, there are solutions to the attention dilemma. Worldwide audiences have been enthralled and engaged for over 40 years with her visionary and pioneering observations. The kind of attention we get and give is vital to improving our lives and society. Alice and her weekly guests review game-changing insights for transforming and improving our understanding of attention, providing techniques for creating healthier and empowering behavior. Get a new perspective on a mainstream word. Tune into Why Our Attention Matters for fresh and thought-provoking conversations every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern on boldbravemedia.com and the TuneIn Radio app.
And welcome back to Angelscapes. This is Nancy with your host, with your co-host Mary Dalva, with Jackie Smith. And when we were I just want to remind you that you can go onto boldbravemedia.com to hear a replay of this show. You can go on boldbravetv.com and then find a link to YouTube to find and Facebook page, Bold Brave Media, to find replays of us. And maybe there's a lot of information, something you missed, something you wanted to pick up. But we're going to finish up the show talking with, I can't believe we could talk another whole hour on this, but we wanted to talk about a little bit when you chose the herbs, when you chose the smells, the oils to work with, there was kind of like a law of similarities or law of correspondence that's so important to understand within spell work. That these items and herbs that you use are vibrating at a certain level to connect things. Jackie, I was like, how did you pick those? Yeah, because
first it started with I opened a book and this is what they told me it does, and then my curiosity said, why is frankincense good for exorcism and money and lust and like. Why? What is it about frankincense? What is it about cinnamon that makes it good for money and love and protection? What is it about that? And so my journey and my relationships with the herbs and even with the stones that I use and the oils and the colors is what is it about? And there is a master lesson to each one. And, I wish I knew them all off the top of my head. But like, for instance, cinnamon is Aries. Cinnamon is about finding yourself and having confidence. And I never thought about cinnamon as Aries until just this moment. But but it makes total sense, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Cinnamon is that's its energy. So in love, you can use it for finding that sense of self-esteem. For money, it says, I deserve this. For protection, it says, I am strong. So look, I just said an Aries thing too. And so there's a perspective, there's a master lesson on each herb that you can look at it in all these different perspectives. Like frankincense. Frankincense is heaven. Frankincense is divine. It brings in really high vibrations. So why would it be effective in protection? Well, you bring all these high vibrations around you, and that negative energy can't stay within you. Why would it be good in love and lusty? Because, if you have those higher vibrations, you can find that deeper connection with someone else. So it's finding that master lesson for all of it, and then the different colors that it vibrates even better with. But so the way I do this is first I have the intent. For instance, the Mercury candle, so we're doing this Mercury Truth Serum candle. And we know that there's traditional colors for Mercury. There's a couple of them. So what makes sense for a candle? Like there's certain colors you can't make a candle. So we'll pick the one that really makes sense for what we want to happen. And then with Mercury's energy, what other ingredients goes with this? What master lesson goes with this Mercury? And then when they're combined, do they still vibrate the same way? So when I'm building a recipe, using a lot of intuition, but also using a pendulum, does it stay in that steady rhythm?
Use pendulum. Okay.
So it's not like, yes, this is a good ingredient, but it's like, how does the energy stay in a steady rhythm and then get bigger and bigger and bigger? Does it wobble? Does it, do they blend together? And so pendulums are really cool. They're not just yes and no. You can really read energy from them. So having that work into that, but then also the law of similarity. Sometimes there's just something that makes sense, like having a money draw candle and making sure you put in 5-finger grasp so you can grasp all of it, or things. So there's different parts that, and then when you dig into that, you go, oh, it totally makes sense that this is in a money draw candle because of its different correspondences. But I also I don't agree on all correspondences. I think sometimes we make stuff up and see if it works. So,
right. That makes sense.
In my in the book that's going to be coming out next year, the Big Book of Candle Magic, I really dive into my theory that there are 5 branches of magic. You're going to do something for prosperity. You're going to do something for protection. You're going to do something for a relationship or love. You're going to do something to heal yourself, or you're going to do something to clear blocks. It all comes down to those 5 things. Anything you're doing, the reason you're doing it is one of those 5 things. And in writing this book, as I'm writing it, I'm like, oh, guess what that matches? That matches Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So
Perfect.
Maslow talks about how there's a deficit. When there's a deficit in any one of those areas, and he talks about the physiology, your foundation, your protection, your relationships, and on and on. So it's like they just match kind of perfectly. It's up to self-actualization. So when you resolve the issue, you reach the self-actualization for that issue. And so each color, herb, ingredient has, you can use it in one of 5 different ways. So that book will have everything will have how you could use it for prosperity, for protection, for love, for healing, for clearing.
That's phenomenal, Jackie. I can't wait. That book's going to be awesome. There is also a book, Coventry Magic, with candles, oils, and herbs, that is also chock full of stuff. Almost like you should get that one and then get the other one, and they should be together.
In Coventry Magic, I really dig into that overall purpose for each ingredient. So what's the overall purpose for each one?
Yeah. So before we get too late, it was really important. This is the season of spirit. This is a season of spirit guides. And then we had this great conversation on break about this is the time to strengthen our relationships with our spirit peoples, as opposed to getting out randomly, getting new, whoever it is. Talk to me about
So when one of the reasons why my magic works so well is I have really strong relationships with my spiritual court. My spiritual court is my ancestors, my divine allies, different spirit guides that I've worked with for years. it's through that relationship that as I set my intention and say, okay, guys, we're going for this. And then my spiritual court goes out and they spread that energy and that message, and they find the energy and bring it back. It's not just me. It's my relationship that I build. And I watch new magical practitioners forget that they need to really pay attention to who's helping them. Who is helping you with this? Have you built that relationship? And there's a lot of spirits out right now. And if you are not an experienced medium, it's kind of hard to tell the difference between who's, blowing smoke up your skirt and who's really good for you. And so because there's a lot of spirits around, so now is not necessarily the time to find new relationships. Now is the time to take this energy and deepen the relationships with your spiritual court. Now, if you're newer to this and you don't have the guides and stuff, it's work with your ancestors. And if you don't didn't like grandma, so work with her mom or her father. So work with your ancestors first. They are your best protectors. They're the best gatekeepers for you.
Wonderful. Thanks, Jackie. Any thoughts to add to that, Mary? Because we have just a little bit left.
No, I just love that you mentioned the ancestors. I think that's the best way to start with these are people you know and trust, for the most part. And I think that's awesome to just highlight that, especially at this time of year.
Yeah. Great. This has been remarkable. I've had a blast. It was just way too fast. Wanted to remind everyone that we're with Jackie from Coventry Creations. So you can find CoventryCreations.com. You can find Facebook is Coventry Creation Candles, or Facebook is Witches Union Spellcaster Club. And I highly recommend that. Instagram and all the other social medias, either Coventry Candles or Coventry Creations. Mary's at marydalba.com or Mary Dalba on Facebook. I'm Nancy at angelscapes.net, or you can Nancy of Angelscapes on Facebook. Lots of resources, guys. Use them. Don't be shy, especially the end of this month. There's a lot of stuff going on, and you want to get somebody who can give you a solid what for and all of this. So, Jackie, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jackie.
Coming on.
Been a blast.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me on.
Oh, you're so welcome. I'll have to do it again soon. But so anyway, I want to wish everyone the best. Remember to stay safe in your spirituality, stay safe in your intentions as the season goes on, and have a wonderful, wonderful season. And we'll see you next time.
This has been Angelscapes. Tune in each week as Nancy and Mary discuss ideas, tips, and lessons to help you receive divine love, joy, and soul power in your life. You can discover the powerful being you really are right here on Angelscapes with your hosts, Nancy and Mary.
You've been listening to the BBM Global Network. The ideas, views, and opinions of this broadcast are those of the participants of the program and are not necessarily the ideas, views, and opinions of the BBM Global Network Company.
Want to know the secret to a great night's sleep? It's Purple. Why? Because only Purple mattresses have the Gel Flex Grid. It's the reason why Purple mattresses are soft where you want it, firm where you need it, and instantly respond to movement. The Gel Flex Grid flexes around pressure points to support your whole body no matter how you sleep. Plus, the Gel Flex Grid is 80% air. It breathes, so you're not too hot or too cold. Learn more about Purple mattresses and the Gel Flex Grid at purple.com. Purple, reinventing sleep.